It was Thanksgiving. The turkey was in the oven. My kids were laughing downstairs, and I was having sex with my wife's best friend in our upstairs bathroom. Then the door flew open, and everything fell apart. My name's Daniel. I'm 45 years old. I live in Ohio. I've been married to my wife, Melissa, for 19 years. We've got two kids, one in high school, one already in college. I work as a logistics coordinator for a construction firm. Boring title, long hours, decent money. From the outside, our life looks solid, stable, safe, predictable, too predictable. Melissa is a good woman, hardworking, caring. She runs a small event planning business with her friend, well, former friend, Jenna. That name still burns in my head like a cigarette scar. I met Jenna years ago. She and Melissa met at a bridal expo. She was smart, sharp, funny, divorced with one kid, blonde, confident in that way some women are when they've already been through hell and survived it. We didn't talk much for years. Birthday parties, BBQs, double dates with her and her new husband, Kyle. I always thought she was attractive, but I buried it, because that's what you do. Until one night at a company Christmas party. We were all a little drunk. The music was loud. Melissa had gone to the restroom. Jenna and I were left standing by the bar. She leaned in and said, "You look like you need something stronger than whiskey." I laughed. She didn't. Then she added with a quiet smirk, "You ever feel like running away for just a night?" That moment changed everything. Not because we kissed. We didn't. Not because anything happened. It didn't. But from that night on, I couldn't stop thinking about her. At first it was harmless. Texts, inside jokes, sharing memes. Then it became deeper. She'd text me things like, "Kyle's asleep by 10 every night. I feel like I'm living with a ghost." I'd reply, "Melissa's more interested in Pinterest boards than sex these days." One night I drove her home after a late business mixer. It was raining. She invited me in. I said no. But the way she looked at me when I said it, like she was daring me, stuck in my chest for days. A week later, I booked a motel room. I told Melissa I had an off-site inventory inspection in Columbus. Jenna met me there. No hesitation. No guilt in her eyes, just hunger. The kind I hadn't seen in a woman's face since I was in my 20s. We told ourselves it was a one-time thing. It wasn't. After that night in the motel, something inside me broke loose. Or maybe it was just finally unleashed. I drove home with her scent still on me. Melissa was asleep when I walked in. Her phone was glowing on the nightstand. Spotify still playing soft acoustic music she liked to fall asleep to. I stood there for a minute, staring at her back, and I felt split. Half of me wanted to confess, just lay it out, ruin everything. The other half, the louder, hungrier half, told me to shut the hell up and live with it. So I did. The next day I couldn't stop replaying the motel in my mind. The way Jenna bit my lip. The way she whispered, "God, I miss this feeling." The way I felt like a man again. Wanted, consumed, addicted. We didn't stop. I told Melissa I had to start working late more often. Audits, site visits, supply meetings that didn't exist. Jenna and I would meet in cheap motels along the highway. Sometimes in her SUV behind her office after hours. Once shamelessly in the storage room of a catering hall, they were prepping for a wedding. She'd text me in the middle of the day, "I'm wearing that dress you like today. No bra." Or, "Kyle just left for golf. Got an hour if you want to ruin me." Every time I saw her, it felt like an overdose. I'd be telling myself on the way there, this has to be the last time. And then I'd see her. And I'd forget why I ever thought that. At home, I became functional, mechanical. Melissa noticed. She's not stupid. She asked if everything was okay. I'd blame stress at work, say I was overwhelmed. She started planning little surprises, dinners, date nights, sexy texts. But I wasn't hungry for her anymore. I felt like a thief sleeping beside someone I'd robbed blind. Guilt would hit me hardest right before bed, or when my daughter asked why I never sat at the dinner table anymore. I'd say I was working. I'd eat late in the garage, alone with my lies. The worst part? Jenna and I would still see each other at holidays, birthdays, barbecues. She'd sit across from me, all dolled up, laughing with Melissa, pouring wine, hugging the kids. We'd steal glances, brush fingers when passing dishes, make eye contact during toasts. Once at a 4th of July party, she followed me inside while I went to get ice. In the pantry, with the door half open, she whispered in my ear, "I want you to take me right now." I didn't, not then, but I wanted to. God, I wanted to. It was like living in two parallel worlds. In one, I was the husband, the father, the dependable guy who mowed the lawn and showed up on time. In the other, I was an animal, desperate, obsessed, aching to be touched, to be wanted in a way I hadn't felt in years. Jenna knew exactly what she was doing. She never begged, never asked me to leave my wife. She just kept showing up, hungry, available, and I kept choosing her. Some nights I'd lie in bed next to Melissa and wonder, what happens when this crashes? Because deep down I knew it always crashes. And the wreckage is never just yours. It was Thanksgiving, the kind of day where families gather under polite lies and too much gravy. Football played in the background, wine was poured, and everything had that fake warmth, like a fireplace loop on a screen, glowing but cold. Melissa had set a full table. Jenna and Kyle were last to arrive. I hadn't seen her in almost 2 weeks. We were cooling off. After a motel slip-up nearly got us caught, she'd left a receipt in her purse. Kyle asked questions. We agreed to stop, to think. But we both knew it was a lie, a weak, useless lie. When she walked through the door, I felt like my ribs caved in. Her hair was curled, soft makeup, burgundy sweater, the kind that hugged every curve, tight at the waist. Her boots went over the knee, suede, expensive looking. And her eyes, Jesus, they didn't blink. They burned straight into mine when Melissa introduced her. She didn't need to say a word. Her presence screamed it. "I've missed you." Dinner dragged. Kyle droned on about a new fishing boat. My daughter showed off her GPA. Melissa refilled everyone's wine. I watched Jenna chew slowly, lick her lips between bites, cross and uncross her legs. Every move she made was electric, calculated, deliberate. She was performing for me, and only me, while sitting 5 feet from my wife. I couldn't think straight. I answered questions wrong, laughed too loud, fidgeted with my fork until I thought I'd snap it in half. My knee brushed hers under the table once. Just once. She didn't move away. Instead, her hand grazed my thigh, just long enough to say, "Yes, I still want you. Right now." Later, people dispersed. My son and Kyle watching football, Melissa chatting with Jenna's daughter, a few guests stepping outside for air. I excused myself, said I needed the bathroom. And I did. I needed 5 minutes just to breathe. Upstairs, second door on the left, familiar, safe. I locked the door, ran cold water, stared at myself in the mirror. My face looked tired, older than I remembered. My chest felt tight. I didn't know if I was about to vomit, cry, or scream. Then, 2 soft knocks. I didn't answer. The door opened anyway, quiet, purposeful. She stepped in and locked it behind her. No words. She stepped forward, grabbed my face, and kissed me. It wasn't sweet. It wasn't cautious. It was all tongue and breath and moans caught between us like smoke. Her hands slid under my shirt. My hands grabbed her hips, pulled her close. I could feel her heat through the layers between us. She tugged my belt loose, unzipped me fast like she'd done it 100 times. I pressed her against the counter, one leg wrapped around mine, grinding against me. My hand slipped under her sweater, feeling bare skin, soft and warm. She gasped into my mouth, whispered, "I dreamed about this every night you didn't answer me." I lifted her onto the counter, pulled her closer. Her hands tugged at my pants, impatient. She wasn't wearing underwear. She looked into my eyes and said, "Don't stop this." Not tonight. I didn't. We were tangled, desperate. No time for slow, no space for guilt. Just breathless tension and low moans swallowed in each other's mouths. The bathroom was small, the light dim, the fan humming above us like static in a broken life. I didn't even hear the footsteps, but I heard the slam. The door burst open. Kyle, face red, eyes wild. Melissa behind him, mouth open, eyes locked on my hand, still around Jenna's waist. The silence was volcanic. Jenna tried to pull her sweater down. I stepped back too slow. My pants still undone. Kyle charged. His fist cracked into my cheek so fast I barely saw it. My back slammed against the wall. My temple clipped the towel rack. Melissa didn't scream. She didn't speak. She just stood there, frozen, her whole body shaking. And then one word. How could you? I couldn't answer. My mouth was full of blood and shame. They both stormed out. Jenna ran after Kyle, crying. Melissa just turned and walked downstairs, grabbed her keys, and left. I sat on the bathroom floor, pants half on, shirt ripped, the counter still warm where she had been. My reflection looked like a stranger. That night, Melissa didn't come home. Neither did the kids. I got a single text from her. I need space. Don't contact me. And from Jenna? Nothing. Total blackout. The next morning, my sister showed up to get some of Melissa's things. She didn't speak to me, just packed silently, eyes puffy, disappointed. And that's when it really hit me. It wasn't just my marriage I'd ruined. It was everything. I woke up on the couch the next morning with a pounding headache and a swollen lip. My phone was silent. No missed calls, no messages, no angry rants, no begging for answers. Just silence. For the first time in years, the house was absolutely quiet. No clinking of dishes in the kitchen, no music from Melissa's playlists, no kids shouting or laughing, no text from my wife asking me to pick up milk on the way home. No one expected me to show up anymore. And the worst part? No one even asked where I was. I walked through the house like a ghost. Everything was exactly where we had left it the night before. The wine glasses on the table, the crumbs from pumpkin pie, a kid's hoodie draped over the back of a chair, photos still hung on the wall, family trips, smiling faces. They looked staged now, like props in a life that no longer belonged to me. I found Melissa's note on the kitchen counter. It wasn't dramatic or emotional. It was cold, precise. Take your things. My lawyer will reach out. Do not contact the kids unless I say so. I read it 10 times, hoping for a crack, a sign she might still love me somewhere in there. Nothing. Work? That went downhill too. Kyle worked in the same industry. Construction services, bidding contracts, shared clients. Word got around fast. I lost 2 projects within the week. One client even told me directly, "Look, Dan, we respect you, but we don't want to be part of any drama. People read Facebook." Right, because Melissa posted about it. No names, but just enough detail. Best friend, husband, holiday, bathroom. That was all it took. Old friends shared it. Strangers commented with emojis, broken hearts, fire, snakes. People I once helped move houses, people I considered like brothers, left laughing reacts. I went to the grocery store. The PTA mom who used to hug me at school events stared at the floor when she saw me. Didn't even say hello. I walked into the coffee shop where Melissa and I used to go every Saturday. The barista didn't smile, didn't ask about my weekend, just slid the coffee over without a word. I texted Jenna, not right away. A few days later, just 2 words. You okay? No reply. 3 days later, I tried again. I can't stop thinking about what we did. I feel dead inside. Still nothing. I called once. It rang once. Straight to voicemail. That was the last time I ever tried. And that's when it hit me. Jenna wasn't my partner. She was never going to be. She used me like I used her. And when the fire got too hot, she vanished. Just like I would have done if she were the one bleeding on the floor. My kids, my son blocked me. My daughter left me one voicemail, her voice shaking. You destroyed Mom. Don't talk to me, not until I'm ready. I listened to it 5 times. Each time it broke something else inside me. I started drinking more. First it was just a beer before bed, then whiskey in the mornings. I moved out. Got a cheap apartment that smelled like mold and regret. Didn't shave, ate fast food, let dishes pile up, let myself rot. No one checked in, no one cared, because no one was calling anymore. One Sunday I walked into a church. Sat in the back row, alone. No one spoke to me. No one asked who I was or what I'd done. I stared at the cross and tried to feel something. Redemption, forgiveness, hope. All I felt was numb. For a year I drifted like that, a shell of the man I used to be, a walking cautionary tale. Not because I got caught, but because I kept going long after I knew it would burn. And worst of all, I liked the fire, until it burned down everything I had. 1 year later, I still wake up at 3:17 a.m., almost every night, same time, like clockwork. The apartment is silent, no breathing next to me, no soft snores, no buzzing phone on the nightstand with a "love you" text from Melissa. No, "Dad, we're out of cereal" from the hallway. Just the humming of the fridge. And me, staring at the ceiling, wondering how the hell I ended up here. I lost everything. Melissa filed for divorce. She didn't cry in court. She wore a navy blazer and answered everything clearly. The judge gave her the house. Full custody. I didn't fight it. I didn't have the strength. My lawyer asked me once if I wanted to push for visitation. I said, "Not yet." He nodded like he understood. But he didn't. Nobody really does. I haven't spoken to my son in over 6 months. The last time I saw him, he walked past me at the grocery store. Didn't stop, didn't look, just kept walking. Like I was dead. My daughter? She texted me on my birthday. 2 words. Still disappointed. I stared at it for hours. Didn't reply. What could I say? As for Jenna, she disappeared. Word is she and Kyle separated for a while, but eventually stayed together. He never spoke to me again. She never contacted me. Not once. She ghosted me harder than I ever imagined. Maybe it was guilt. Maybe survival. Maybe she just didn't care as much as I thought. In the end, she returned to her life. I didn't have one to go back to. I tried therapy. Once. Sat across from a woman who looked at me like I was a lab specimen. She asked why I cheated. I gave the usual. I felt neglected. Invisible. Unwanted. She wrote something down and said, "Or maybe you were selfish." That was my last session. I tried church. I tried dating apps. I even tried moving to another city for 3 months. But the truth is, you can't outrun this kind of fire. It burns into your bones. So now, it's me, the mirror, and this version of Daniel I never thought I'd become. Gray hair, broken smile, 50 pounds heavier, quieter, meaner to himself. I talk to myself more now, ask questions out loud. Would you do it again? Was it worth it? Did you ever really love either of them? Sometimes I say yes. Sometimes I say no. Sometimes I just laugh and pour another drink. But the worst question is this. What if Melissa had done the same thing to me? I don't like that question, because I know the truth. I would have crucified her, burned the house down, told everyone. But she didn't. She stayed loyal. She fought for us. I didn't. So now every morning I get up, shave, drink black coffee, and stare at the man in the mirror. And he stares back. He doesn't look angry anymore. Or sad. Just tired. Worn out by regret. And maybe that's justice. Not courts, not lawyers, not custody. But having to live every day as the man who lost everything because he couldn't stop himself from taking what never should have been his.